about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
Join your fellow starseeds, lightworkers, and experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference, this July 15th to 18th. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.
Strand Podcast.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Beavers from The Theory, and you are listening to Alien Strand Podcast, the dopest UFO alien podcast out there. And if you want to find out about me, just go on YouTube and search UFOs over U of O or The Theory with Mike Beavers. Stay tuned, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma. And welcome to today's show. Man, it's going to be a pretty interesting one. I hope everybody's doing well out there in audio world. We are live right now on audio podcast on Spreaker. So check us out. If you have a Spreaker app, if you haven't downloaded, download Spreaker, Spreaker. Download it, right? Or go to Spreaker.com. Add Alien Strand to your favorites there. Give us a like, subscribe, heart, all that good stuff. We are also live on YouTube to check us out there as well. So, we have been doing a lot of stuff lately, man, a lot. It's just been going and going and going. Of course, my new book, it's a guidebook, actually. It's not very thick. It's just a small guidebook. It's called CE5, Frequencies of Contact. Go download that on Kindle, or download the app, and then you can download the book. Even, I believe, Barnes & Noble has it as well. So you can download it there and get a paperback if you would like one there. Now, I just would like to tell everybody that on my last podcast that I did on audio, we had somebody that shared the heck out of that podcast, right? And I gave them a book. So I have it signed, ready to rock and roll. I'm sending it out there to you. And it's going to have a little gift inside of there as well. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Now, I got 4 more books to give away. So if anybody gives away this podcast, if I see it on the Facebook or, Instagram, anything like that, please get ready to get a notice from me. You'll see it come through your instant messenger. I would really like to do it on Facebook. That way I can contact you directly and then get your information. But you know what? I really appreciate everything that everybody's doing out there for Alien Strand podcast. We're going more into audio. That's because, hey, I got to go back to my roots, man. That's just what it's about. I hope you guys caught the last podcast that I did with Mr. Brian to Sing, all right? He talked about that conference in July 15th through the 18th there in St. Pete's Beach, Florida, right? Be sure to go to that website. I'm going to have it on a link to it on this after this podcast. So you can click on that link and get your tickets, man. They're running out, man. That's 3 days of nothing but disclosure that's going to come out of there. And also, I'll be showing my film. I'll have a booth there myself. And I'll be selling some books, my little booklets I'll be having there. I'll be selling those. I'm going to sign it for you. Meet and greet, man. I'll have my own booth there. And I will also be showing my film, all right? So you'll be seeing the middle part 2 there at that conference, all right? So get ready for that. It's going to be very cool, man, as it goes. Now, there'll be links to the book. There'll be links to the movies. Everything on this podcast is going to say all my links, right? Click on that and you'll be able to go check it out and go purchase one. I really appreciate that. All that does is just kind of helps for the new films or the new book or another book I have another book coming out. What? Yes, I do. Probably in about a month and a half. And then I am working on the last series of The Middle, called The Middle Part 4, all right? So The Middle 3 is done, but for some reason, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, somebody's doing something, but I can't get Part 2 out there. I've had so much issues, and it's done. It's ready to rock and roll. It's submitted to Amazon. It's submitted everywhere. If you guys can, go to your Amazon and just type in The Middle 2 CE3. Even though it's not there, it kind of helps them be aware that you guys are looking for it, all right? So, and we do have it, though, on our Skylight 1 channel. So we do have a video on demand, Skylight 1. If you go to our Facebook there, you'll see it on all my links as well. It'll be there as well. Just click on the link there to Skylight 1 video on demand. Now, we just released a brand new channel for TV, right? Live TV. So we have Skylight 1 Live TV. It's web-based, right? So it's going to be on your computer, on your phone, or you can mirror it to your TV. And it's going to be showing a lot of documentaries. The Middle is actually showing there as well. And a lot of my work and then a lot of other people's work, new documentaries and new films are on that channel. So we have the Skylight 1 channel. It's about UFOs and Bigfoot. And now we just introduced Skylight 2, right, to that list of the live TV. So that's Skylight 2 Paranormal, all right? That one's going to have a lot of, a few movies on there on paranormal. These are independent film makers, all right? You'll see a lot of actors from the past will be on those films. Really cool films and a lot of documentaries and actually some supernatural, ghost hunting that's on there, adventures is on there as well. So go check out those two channels live right now. As a matter of fact, we are leasing the third channel. If you guys have a YouTube channel, you want to get it on there and tag along with us, give me a call, send me an instant message, or hit me on an email. You'll see it there on all my links, and we'll talk. I'll get your YouTube channel with all your content with your own channel. You name it, it's yours, man. You can name the channel yourself, and it'll be on our TV guide, right? So you can be a piggyback along with Skylight 1, and so people can watch your content 24/7. I'll program it for you. There you go. Anyway, so you guys are listening in today. I hope you guys are safe on the road. Keep your eyes on the road, of course, your eyes in the sky. If you have to get a UFO on picture or video, please pull over where it's safe to do so, all right? So today's news, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news on Facebook all over. I believe yesterday that gentleman, Angel, there from I believe was in Nevada, I believe. Over there by Las Vegas. They did an interview with him, right? And they got some information about. It's been a whole year later, ever since that UFO, landed in his backyard, right next to his those front end loaders that they have like a business in the backyard. So it's a huge backyard. It's not like a yard like us. It's like a yard, like a business yard, where they have trucks and all that good stuff, right? And it's behind their house. So he actually had an interview, and they talked to him a lot about what was exactly what he saw and what has transpired afterwards, right? And he says that that's a lot of strange things have been happening lately, right? And it's been more of he says he was having some kind of almost supernatural things happen in the house, like a cross falling on the floor, and it had the Jesus separated from the cross, and then the cross was flipped upside down ever since that thing happened, right? So I don't know if you notice this, but on a lot of my films, I do have a paranormal connection with ufology, right? Because usually after you have an encounter with an extraterrestrial craft or UFO, you immediately, especially when you make some kind of contact with it, right? You immediately start having some kind of paranormal entities or paranormal things that are happening in your home, right? Drawers opening, closets or doors opening and closing, just kind of things touching your shoulder, and it just seems paranormalistic, right? Because the connection is there, right? Because I believe that these things can actually, even if it's not a manifestation, it might be a actual being, a physical being standing there. You just can't see them, right? They can actually blend in with everything, right? Because we've seen videos of it. I don't know if you saw part 2. I do have a video on part 3 of the middle. There's an actual entity going across this ridge, right? And these people are recording, and you can see the figure, but it's blending in like almost like the Predator movie, where the leaves, and it just mimics it like a mirror, right? So these things might just be walking amongst us every day, right? And we just don't realize it because you can't see them, right, with our naked eye. And it's a possibility that they are in the physical realm here, and just kind of walking amongst us so they don't bump into us, and possibly are able to manipulate themselves in some kind of way to be in the manifestation of the other side, the other dimension of where the ghosts are, where the paranormal things are, where they can actually be in the same dimension with the people that have crossed over, that have not made it wherever they're going, right? And it's kind of weird to say that, but at the same time, this is exactly what's happening to a lot of people that have been experiencers, right, or abductees, and this is what happens to them, a lot of the times. Now, some do have like I've talked about before, some do have a not such a traumatic episode with these beings because it might be a different kind, right? They're not all evil, but there is some sort of an agenda that comes with them, right? And that's what it is. It's the agenda of them wanting something from you, right? And that's what we have to really recognize, what it is, a reality of what they want, right? Because that is what they want. They want something from you. So, and at the same time, they plant implants on you in your nose, in the back of your ear, in your thigh, or in your back, or, I just posted a picture on our Facebook on Alien Strand of a person that had a triangular holes in their shoulder, right there, or their arm, and it was very fresh, perfect triangle, right? Like they had been, examined some sort of way, and those indentions were left in their skin with almost like pus coming out of those holes, right? Because of course you're healing as a human being, and these things happen to us genetically because our bodies start fusing, biological things start happening in your body, atoms fusing, there you go. So and that's just the natural things of it all, right? So I looked at News Nation, right, about the story of what happened there, and it says that, I'm going to read a little bit to you. It says, a veteran crime scene recreation experts analyzed a video that purports to show creatures in Las Vegas backyard. Says the video hasn't been altered, right? And believes that these images are not one, but two beings, right? I think we talked about this on one of our podcasts before with David Aliff, right? We talked about, what it was a possibility that there was more, right? And he says, once you see it, you can't deny it, said Scott Ryder, right? From the evidence room. He does animation and exhibits, right? So he says, there's no editing. That is an original video. He told News Nation. Banfield on Friday, he says, we tried to debunk it to see if there was something that was added to the video, and all of our results came back was authentic, right? He says it was April 30th, 2023. The Kenmore family called 911 to report something not human in their backyard. Police investigated in part because the officer spotted a mysterious flash and the light in the sky that same evening, right? And then they starts talking about that there's more demonic innocence at the Las Vegas house, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier. It says, but proving that the video hasn't been altered, that's what it shows. Then Roger says that it took a lot of views before he spotted something that initially missed. Two beings in that video at the same time, says Roger. Used motion traffic software to use the pinpoints and the source of the motion. He goes, we took a vector motion points to the space and then attach a figure to the background, and to show movement of a shadow reflects a movement of a body that is attached to the head, right? So apparently there was something there. You just couldn't see it. These guys picked it up with their motion spectrums, right? And he says, adding to the belief that the reaction of the Kenmore family, whom appeared that is genuinely stated by what they saw. But Henson, the host of UFO Witness on Discovery, isn't sure. He agrees with a digital expert with the UK, believes that the creature really a shadow cast by the flashlight. In other words, it was something that they did themselves, right? By one of the Kenmore family. He says, I am convinced it's explainable. That's what Henson said. And then they also state that it was a commercial light balloon that was possibly AARO that was in the area, right? So it says, but Roger, that doesn't know how the shadow work. He says that the image appearing above the fence doesn't have a surface to the shadow. This show a shadow. He says, I don't understand how the shadow could be floating above the fence. I don't believe that makes any sense, right? I'm kind of reading ahead of this, so that's why I stopped for a second. But they have an actual news interview, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now, so that way you can kind of get a little logistics of what they were talking about while that interview took place. Let's hear it.
Internationally recognized evidence specialist and founder of the Evidence Room. Great to have you both here. Scott, I'll start with you. You've analyzed the video in Las Vegas in that backyard. Edited, fake? What's your take on it?
No, there's no editing. That is an original video. We did a complete analysis of it, and we tried to debunk it to see if there was something that was added to the video. We used a vector tracking software that has an AI component to it, and all of our results came back as it was authentic. So there's something in that video. There's two things actually in that video. There's something that happens in the background, which I found initially, and I didn't even see or recognize the being or whatever it is above the fence until just a few weeks ago. It was pointed out to me by a subscriber to a friend of mine's podcast. But once you see it, you can't deny it. So there's actually two beings in the video at the same time, one in the background that I believe that the father is reacting to. And you can see it for just a split second when their heads separate. And at that same time, that's when the being or whatever it is comes above the fence. So I believe it's authentic.
You said, there's a difference between the video being authentic, right, and what it actually shows. Because Ben, there's this researcher in Britain who agrees that the video hasn't been edited, but he thinks he knows what caused this shadow, that it might be from the flashlight. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Let's rotate him a little, and we do actually see the torch. From our camera position, we can just see it about here, can't we? We can just see it over his right shoulder. But the closer he is to the fence post, the quicker that shadow will move from right to left.
Now, Scott, I understand you spoke to him. Ben, I should say. I understand you spoke to him. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something not there, but do you think the shadow was just caused by the flashlight, Ben?
Yeah, I wanted to say congratulations, Scott and Finn, because a lot of people don't have the time to do this, and we have confirmed it's there. There's something there, but as you look at this analysis, the shadow and the light he's holding is casting through the slats of the gate, and the smudging that's appeared, I do believe, is a compression of the video because you don't have lighting up by the tree. So it doesn't mean, again, that what they were seeing in the backyard is something completely, totally different. They reacted to something, but I do believe what we're seeing near the fence is an effect caused by that shadow cast through the slats of the fence there. And when he moves, he recreated it in a software program that I'm convinced it's explainable.
See.
All right. So there's their, analysis of what they had seen, right, or what they thought that everything that had happened there, right, and
winter can be a tough time for treating acne while keeping your skin hydrated.
So it's one of those things that you have to really kind of put your mind to it exactly what they saw. Video analysis. There was tracking software used for that. And, what do you do in that sense? What do you do when you try to figure out exactly what these people saw, right? Or what they had witnessed, right? And then you just kind of go, well, maybe something did happen, right? And it's almost like when you have a lot of people analyzing that footage, and the bad part, it was because of the angles, the way the everybody holds their camera upright like they talk on the phone, right? So most of your recordings are going to come out that way, right? I believe if they would have turned their phone the opposite way, like on a landscape look, I think they would have got a more wider shot of what they had seen. And I highly recommend that to any of you guys out there that are filming. Try not to film with your camera straight up and down like you talk on the phone. Do the landscape, go long ways, because there's a lot more in the scene that we're not seeing, that you can't see with the naked eye, right? So it takes analysis experts like these guys, and like Alien Strand Disclosure Project, like Chris Hamill or Anibal Caballero, and they start doing these analysis on these videos, and they get a better shot of what they can see with the naked eye, what's underneath the spectrum, right? And I believe it's important to do it that way. This kid stated that they still had like paranormal kind of activity, things happening in the house, and they just can't explain exactly what's going on, right? And it's hard to believe that we cannot connect these things, these extraterrestrials, with paranormal. I've been saying this for a couple of years now, right? As I've noticed, and everything kind of came together with me as I was doing interviews with people, and how they talked about their stories, and how they have these kind of paranormalistic things that happen to them at home, or just anywhere where they go. So it's not really necessarily has to be at their home or where this thing happened. it follows them everywhere, right? And what does that, right? We see it in these shows all the time, that when it says houses are not haunted, people are, right? And I mean, but I still believe some houses can be haunted as well. I just threw out a video today or yesterday of a paranormal event that was happening inside of this woman's house. He had a priest come over, and once he started blessing the house inside, broad daylight, mind you, she's holding the baby, and all of a sudden the chair, it's a rocking chair, starts going crazy back and forth, and the priest sees that. He goes, oh no, oh wow, oh my. He's saying, what is that? And so he starts getting spooked, right? And then while he goes, I don't know if I could do this, and he stops blessing the living room, right? While she's holding the baby, she goes, she's apologizing to him for what's happening. She's telling him, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. And he goes, no, it's okay. And then he didn't. After that, when she said that, the whole couch slid out, right, in the living room, and that freaked him out. And then the door slams to the other room next to him, right? So that threw him in a different direction. It was a priest, mind you, and he said, I can't do this, I gotta go, right? I caught that like, man, I mean, you should have stayed at least to try to help her, because she's asking for help. A lot of these paranormal events that we don't know what's happening, you know, it could be demonic, you know, or just could be something else that, you know, they just don't like, right? So just think about it this way, right? And this was probably that happened in her home. It was demonic, because as soon as he started throwing the holy water, it started reacting, right? Which it didn't like it. It didn't like that stuff. So you got to remember, there is good and there is evil, and evil hates good, right? So these are the counteractions that happen during a demonic impression in the house, right? So you have to kind of go with the punches in a sense, and just keep going forward to try to get help if you are experiencing these kind of things, right? I just hope that woman gets more help from maybe somebody else that can maybe help them. You know, that's where these movies, The Conjuring and everything, came from, because these people were not priests that were in that movie. They were people just trying to help people, right? Get this demonic things away from them, right? And they endured a lot of pains themselves and physical attacks of these demonic possessions that were inside of homes. Yes, homes are possessed, and I believe that they are for some reason. And when you try to help these people, this is what happens, right? And when we're getting back to the UFO thing, you know, they're experiencing that stuff now, right, in the home, and that's what he explains it. You'll see it all over Facebook, TikTok, and all those kind of things. You know, you'll see his interview. He'll start talking about it, and I'm sure there's going to be a longer interview with him, because he just now decided to talk about it. He didn't want to at first. He was just kind of scared. I believe people said that they were kidnapped after it happened, because nobody heard from them again, right? As far as like news. I just kind of think they stayed under the radar and just didn't want to make a big deal about it, right? Which was actually the smartest thing to do, especially when you've never experienced anything like this, because they were afraid of the stigmas of their business, right? Because they do have a business, and sometimes it does affect your business credentials, right? So these kind of things, you have to kind of put them to the side sometimes. Until you're ready to bring it out, especially when you're getting more attacked or you see more extraterrestrial crafts or anything like that up in the sky, you know, and you start to witness more events. And eventually you start talking about it, right? And that's exactly what happens. I mean, I spoke to a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, and you know, he called me. He was from New York, and you know, we talked for a good 45 minutes. You know, I'm not going to tell you his story, but you know, it was so intriguing to me, the whole story, and the way he broke it down to me, and the details of everything. Was this gentleman experienced something as a child since the age of 10, right? And these things followed him for the rest of his life, even today, right? And those are things that he couldn't explain, and it was hard for him to talk about it because everybody thought he was crazy. That's what he said. They almost put him in a mental institution because of it, right? But after I talked to him, I just told him, hey, man, you're not crazy, brother. You know, everything you told me, you're on point. Don't worry about it. Keep on. Hang in there, you know. And that's what we tell people to do, right? Hang in there. Don't give up, you know, because there's help out there to try to figure out exactly what happened. Because what it is that people, once they experience this, they want to know why. They want to know exactly why this is happening to them or why they were picked, right? And they want to know what, right? What it is. What is this? Did I see something that I wasn't supposed to see? Or was I picked for something, right? Then they feel guilty. Why me, right? Because they're experiencing these things that it's haunting them on a daily basis for some. Right? And that's the guilt that comes along with it, you know. And it gives you some sort of PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder. It does. It should have its own category. But they won't do it, right? Because ufology is not something that's a category yet. Especially in post-traumatic stress disorder. Because a lot of these psychologists are trying to explain the unexplainable, right? And when they do it, it sounds good in their head. It sounds good on paper. And that's what it is, right? You're crazy. You're manifesting this yourself. Some believe that you do manifest these images through regression therapy, right? A hypnotist, in other words, right? That you have done this to yourself. This is what they believe. And truth in the matter is, why would you do this to yourself when you were just minding your own business, doing your day-to-day, living life, enjoying the family, and then this disrupts your life, right? Why would you do that to your own self? Doesn't make any sense. Not to me. So I think they need to dig into that just a little bit deeper. Because if you can cure somebody of, let's just say, smoking or, you know, having episodes of some sort of thing with regression therapy, or you bring people back from a memory of something that traumatic that has happened in their life, nothing to do with extraterrestrials, right? Just kind of doing that. And you can help them through that. And you're believing everything that happened to them, what they're explaining, right, through regression therapy, right? But why is it not the same thing happening to people with extraterrestrial regression therapy, right? Automatically just start thinking, no, you made that up. Why can't it be true? And that's my thing, right? You can believe that part of it, but you can't believe this part of it. Why? It's called closed-mindedness, man. So, me personally, I just think that if you have an open mind and you understand the realities of these things are real, right? And we know they're real. There's too much evidence out there. We're seeing it every day. What these people are experiencing, right? And you have to understand that, you know, by keeping an open mind, you're able to understand these people better, right? And I think that's what we should do as a society, not just as, you know, ufologists, but as people in general. Let's be a little more open-minded and accept the unaccepted, right? That's what we need to do. Because these people are asking for help, and I think we should give that to them. Why not, right? I mean, we watch videos of people helping other people all over Facebook, TikTok, you know, giving them money and helping them with their businesses and, you know, being generous to each other, because those people were in need, they were in a dark place, right? Why can't we do that for these folks as well? And that's what we're here for, right? And we're not going to be showcasing their faces everywhere and, giving them the money. And, I think, there's some things you should just give them their dignity, right? Give them their dignity, man. And just help them if you can. Let them tell their story. Don't tell it for them of what you're doing. And I know as an influencer, everybody helps out that way, right? And that's the only way to do it. I get it. But also give them their dignity, because I think people deserve that as well. So now that we found out some news about this UFO and this 1 year later in Nevada, and then everything that was unfolded with it, I hope you guys understand exactly what happened to Angel and his family and what's happening today. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more of it, right? You know what people I really want to talk to? I want to find some people in Florida from the mall there, right? That's the one I want to see. I want to talk to them too, right? Because they're both just as important. But man, if we can find somebody that, more stuff's happening to them afterwards, oh my God, it's going to break the internet. Guaranteed. I mean, it's still playing on TikTok and Facebook. I still see it, the mall stuff, and the old footage. But hey, it's UFO news, and that's what we're doing today. UFO news. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast and the UFO news that I had today. I really appreciate you guys listening on audio podcast. Go to our YouTube channel. Go check us out there. Hit us a like and subscribe. Don't forget, download, go get my new book, CE5 Frequencies of Contact. I'll teach you how to CE5, how to meditate, all that good stuff is on there. Go check out that book. It's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, all over. You'll see the links. It's going to be all my links on there, right? Click on that. It'll take you all to every book that's out there, right, that I have. It'll take you to the movies, all right? Don't forget, check out our Skylight 1 live TV channel, all right? There'll be links to that as well. Remember, Skylight 1, UFO Bigfoot, Skylight 2, Paranormal. Go check those live channels out. Mirror those to your TV and enjoy all the content that's on there. Like I said, if you guys want to be on today on the show, or you guys want to call me about anything that you have, just call me at 361-245-8000. Again, 361-245-8000. And that's our hotline, right? You can reach us there. All right? But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
Join your fellow Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference, this July 15th to 18th. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.
about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book. Now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.